Today we're going to talk about the power you bring into your life through prioritization. Now, so many people, they coast through life like they're in a trance. They have no clear direction, or they end up at the mercy of anything that life puts in front of them. But the truly successful people on this planet are the ones that have clearly defined goals and clearly defined outcomes and know exactly why those goals are an absolute must. And then they carefully plan their strategy, and then they prioritize their tasks to maximize that effort. They realize that they have to take massive action today, not tomorrow. Tomorrow ends up becoming never if they don't take immediate action. Now, we all only have a finite amount of time in every day to build that life that we want. If that time is spent doing ineffective tasks or busy work, life never changes. Stephen Covey, the author of The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, said, "The key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities," right? And in that vein, I'm going to take a minute and take you through a planning process that I teach in my live events and to my coaching students. And it's how I was able to manage more than one company at the same time. Now, you may want to come back to this episode, or at least this piece of this episode, and take some notes, or take them now if you can. Before I get into it, let me say this, and that is, if you want to develop something like this planning process into a habit for success, and to develop any habit, you have to do it for 60 to 90 days. So my suggestion for you would be to pick a day and a time of day that you do this every week. You do this weekly planning process, and that way, if you're consistent on a weekly basis, the same day and time, it will ultimately become a habit you'll do the rest of your life. And it's incredibly powerful, so you want to build it into that. So the first step of the process you may not think is important, but I'm going to tell you it's super important. And that is, you got to pat yourself on the back for anything that you did the previous week. Consciously pat yourself on the back for anything that you got done. Now, if you've ever heard me tell my story of working for 20 years to build my giant mansion on the beach, and then within 2 months of moving in, I became depressed because I was no longer progressing. Progress equals happiness, but you have to acknowledge that progress consciously. And it just takes a split second to pat yourself on the back and say, "Good job, Rod, you freaking rock." Now, things are never going to happen as fast as you like, and you're going to have setbacks. If you're acknowledging your progress, you're going to be happy because you know you're growing and progressing. So the setbacks don't impact you that much. The next thing I'm going to suggest that you do is you make a list of everything that's important in your life. Now, I'm going to make some suggestions here. Start with the people first. All the people that really matter in your life. Friends and family. Shouldn't be more than about 20 or 30 people tops. Then after the people, I need you to list all the important pieces of your core W-2 job or business that you own that you're responsible for, that you need to think about at least once a week. And it shouldn't be more than 5 to maybe a maximum of 15 things, tops. These are just the high-level impact areas or thinking areas that you have to these areas that you're going to have the most impact, okay? Then I want you to think about the most important pieces of this multifamily side hustle that you're committed to maximizing, and list high-level impact areas for you there. For example, picking your target market, talking to brokers, building those relationships, property manager relationships, potential partners or investors in that market, evaluating deals so you become great at it, maybe coming to one of my boot camps so you really learn this business. But again, maybe 8 to 10 high-level things in this multifamily business, high-level impact areas. Lastly, I want you to put some declarations down. They can be health-related, relationship-related, whatever is important to you. Not goals, declarations. For example, on mine, I've got, what can I do to rock Tiffy's world this week, my wife? Because making my wife happy is my life's mission. I also have a declaration that I'm going to lift one body part a day, read a good book for 30 minutes a day. So whatever it is for you, put some declarations down for yourself. Then I recommend that you print this on one sheet of paper. Now, if you're typing it on a Word document or handwriting it, rewrite it on one sheet of paper or print it on one sheet of paper. Now, here's why this is a big deal. Once you have this one sheet of paper, it's super powerful for several reasons. One is, it's kind of counterintuitive, but it actually minimizes or even eliminates any overwhelm when you see your whole life, everything that matters on one sheet of paper. Now, the other thing is it gives you incredible clarity, and clarity is power. And lastly, you maintain balance because you're going to look at this list once a week when you're doing your weekly planning process, and you're going to come up here with your list of tasks for the week. Now, again, I do this on a Word document. I just change the date every week. It's called my weekly must list. So then, next you have to create your weekly list of must-do tasks. Now, this is important. Just the tasks for the week. This is not a place for goals or projects. You don't want to make the task list overwhelming. If you've got a project, just list the things on that project that you're absolutely committed to doing that week. Okay, now, the next thing is you look at that list and you have to prioritize, and here's how you're going to do it. On any list, there are typically 20% of the items that will get you 80% further. It's called the Pareto principle. Some guy a few hundred years ago named Pareto came up with this, and it's true. It's always there, but you've got to pick those items, the things that are going to get you further faster, and then the last thing is you block time for them. That's the last step. And when you block time for the things that are going to get you further, you are so freaking effective. You're like a train on a track executing your priorities. So, and then you minimize your distractions and you get so much further faster. Remember, you always have time for the things that you prioritize. Also, if you're the sort of person that isn't present when you're with the people that really matter in your life, listen up. If you're regularly distracted, or when you're on the, if you're on the phone with them, or you're on your own phone when you're with them, then I'm going to suggest you actually block time for them. Tell them you've got me from 6 to 8 p.m. Put that damn phone in the drawer. And then after that, you tell them, I'm going to go bring home the bacon. Mom, Dad's got to bring home the bacon, but you're with them in that time block. And I'll tell you that your children or your spouse would rather have you totally present for 15 minutes than an hour of distraction. And it's never as much about having time as it is about making time, my friend. It's also super important for you to make yourself a priority. Nobody's more important than you. And unless you make yourself a priority, you're not going to be able to add value to anybody else, right? I'm Rod Cleef, and I'm wishing you incredible passion and massive success in your business and in your life.